Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcast. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I have the great pleasure of being your host every single week, bringing in conversations, tools, resources to bringing more wellness and well-being in all aspects of our lives, whether it's relationships, it's finances, business, our bodies and mental health, whether it's having more communion with our magical earth or bringing more awareness and consciousness in everything that we're choosing. So thank you so much for being here. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcast. My name is Laleh Hancock, and today I have a very special guest, my friend, Kirsten Altvater. Did I pronounce it correctly? A little bit, she says. Actually, the reason that I have my beautiful friend here today with me is I want to talk about dentistry done different. And, giving you guys, I'll give you a little bit of background. So you live in Germany, you work in Belgium, you have been a professional dentist, a naturopath for psychotherapeutical treatments. You are the voice of many books that are on Audible. You are an access consciousness bars facilitator, a pragmatic psychology practitioner, a body process facilitator, practitioner. And now you're putting all these amazing skills together to really not just make life easy for those coming to you for dentistry reasons, but you're also assisting all those with burnout and stress and really finding alternative ways to add a little more creativity or a lot more creativity, a lot more joy in their lives. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Laleh. It's a great chance for me to tell you something about it. Thank you so much.
Well, when you and I met and we started to talk, I was blown away by one, you live in Germany and you commute to work for 2 hours each way. I mean, that itself is some dedication. So can you say a little bit more about you and really what you're creating in the world?
Oh, okay. I'm a dentist since 30 years now. So I'm a dinosaur in the dentistry. So, and when I started dentistry, I just had some very different point of views about how I would be in the future. And I used to have my own practice, and it didn't work. And then I had to sell it, and then I went to work in a foreign language. I didn't know the language until then, and I had to learn it in between 5 weeks. It was very short time. Yeah, and then I started to work in the Netherlands, and after that, I just worked for 2 years in Germany, and then I went back to Belgium, and I'm there since 10 years now. And on my way there, up and down, it's about 2 hours riding, as you said. I listened to audibles quite a lot because I was so bored about the radio shows. It was always the same. And I listened to a lot of access books. And I found out that there are so few access books in German. So you have a lot of audibles in English, but not in German. And then I started my ask to Simone Milasas, for example. And after 1.5 years, she said, well, it's okay. And then until now, I just read 2 books of her and one of Susanna Mittermeier, and it's great fun. Because you know what I love about audibles? You're facilitating yourself all the way through the book because you're reading out loud. And the technicians I'm working with are mostly not in contact with access consciousness tools. And they just say, what are you reading there? It's so funny. And I really love that. And I put all these tools into my dental treatments. I do two days a week. So I'm working as a dentist on Monday and Tuesday, and the rest of the week I just do different things.
Business done different. I love that. Actually, I want to emphasize here the two books from Simone Milasas that you're actually reading. One of them is Joy of Business, which is one of my favorite books.
Yes.
And I think I'm gonna bring it up because it's always near me. I love this book. By the way, we weren't planning this, but this book travels everywhere with me. And then also her other book called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, which I am so excited. We're going to do we're going to be doing a 10-week program coming up next month. But the whole thing about these books is not a traditional book. You're not reading on Audible a traditional business book or getting out of debt book. It really is tools that, like you said, one page of you reading this is to gain awareness, to have more consciousness with your finances, but it actually is about having more consciousness with you, your body, your life. And, you know, one of the things I love is that how you share this also with your patients. You share it with the people that come to you for, you know, different kinds of sessions. So can you say a little bit more of like someone who is burnt out or someone who fears going to the dentist, like what would you share with them? I'm just curious.
So there are two different works I do. It's one on one side, it's the patient which is really frightened and which doesn't want to go to the dentist. And I can prepare them in a way. So I do Zoom sessions with them. And it's really crazy because they are calling me up because of their fear. And mostly never it has anything to do with the teeth. So, you know, I have the background, the anatomical background, and I know what they are talking about. And I just get this energy, what lies underneath the pain or the fear. And we are just, we can just, how do you say it? We just uncreate it. So we just
go beyond it.
A look at it and we just go beyond that. And when they are finished, so the most wow testimonial that I have ever had was with a patient, and she called me and she was so frightened, and she had an appointment 1 week after our session. And before that, she told me that she is sweating and she's scared, and her fingers are like white, you know, because she does a lot of pressure with her hands. And then she told me after that session, she looked at her calendar and there was a red spot around this day. And she wrote to me, I tried to be very scared and I couldn't. And this is such a great, it made me so happy because there was a lot of change in her world. And I am, I can give the kick, you know, the push to just look at it in a different way. And that's it. I don't change the people. That's what they do on their own. And that's what I always tell them. And when I work with dentists, it's a little bit different because I know the inside things in a practice. I know the stress they have. I know that they are responsible for everything. So their assistants, the treatments, the technical things, just like everything. And I know that they have a lot of stress, and all these classes they can join is just to change something in the outside. And what I got is, you cannot change the outside. You always have to change yourself. So be yourself and change the world. And that's what I got. And that's what I put into this treatment things. And I see how they change, because I don't promise them that I will prepare their way like you have to do A plus B and then C comes out. It's just to tell them, well, what if you would look in a different way? What if you would ask questions instead of stucking in your conclusions and in your judgments. And it's so different because even if they don't know anything about access, they just open the space, and you see how they start to grow energetically. You know what I mean? And it makes me so happy. It's always different, and it's really fun. That's what Simone says in her book. My life is my business. So I don't do that for, yes, sure, I'm happy about getting money for that. And this is not the point. I love to have money. But what if getting money and earning money for things you really like to do is so much fun? And I like my dentistry for 2 days. I don't want to do it for 5 days. So, and the funny thing is, I have so many treatments in between these 2 days, and my assistant is used to access tools as well up to now. And I have quite a list of questions which are sticking on my, I don't know if you know that, magnet wall. So with
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
there are a lot of questions. And sometimes if the situation is really escalating, you sometimes have patients which are really. And then she goes to that and points to the question number 2. And the question number 2 is, what's right about I'm not getting? And she says, well, could it be number 2? And then we have to laugh so loud and everything is fine again. It's just like that. So this is different. This is
Oh my God.
different.
I have to say that I've been in business for 35 years, and I've worked with every kind of business you could think about, small business, mid-sized businesses, enterprises, governments, entrepreneurs, startups, not-for-profits, you name it. And all of them can be fun. All of them can be that we get to create something very different today. And a lot of times for me, before even I knew the tools, I would make them laugh. I would say something really silly to make them laugh. Because like you said, when things seem so serious and seem so difficult, it's like you're there in concrete, there's not much movement. But the minute that you say something really funny, really silly, or look at a video that's funny or something, you start to unravel that concrete, and you actually open the doors of creativity. And you do give yourself permission then to, ask a question and have different possibilities that are going to come up. So having it in any business, whether it's dentistry, whether it's medical, whether it's, you sell shoes, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You can infuse questions into any part of your day. And so when I came to Access Consciousness, when I first found it, I was like, joy of business. That is the one thing that I want to be, a facilitator, certified facilitator around the world. And at the time, there was no program. It was just Simone going around the world facilitating these programs. And then shortly after, she did. And I've been a happy joy business facilitator since then. Because it, like you said, sometimes it's one question that you share with someone that opens 10 years, 50 years of something they thought was a problem. And now it's a possibility. Or it could have been a moment of they went into, this is a challenge, or this is, a wrongness, or we did it the wrong way. And then you shine the light on it, and it's actually, wow, no, it was exactly what was required at that moment. It's just what it opened up. People didn't even pay attention to because they were more focused that this was a wrong decision. And when you help people like that, empower them to explore things, like you said, from a different perspective, like it's just incredible what it can open up and create in life, and in business.
Oh, this is so cool. And it's so much fun. And you can see into happy faces, and they are really lighter after a session. And they are really so grateful because they know that they are not wrong, And that's what I always tell them before we start. I just tell them, well, I don't do the difference in your life. I just give you a little kick. The difference, you are the difference. And just look at your wrongness, it's a strongness. How can we use it for your advantage? And that's so my point of view to work with people, yeah, to encourage them to look at themselves and don't see the wrongness every time. And it's really cool. It's so much fun. And you know, I'm on my way to CF, so yeah.
Yay. And I think that's the beauty of the tools, is that we get to utilize them ourselves. Like, I know as a facilitator, like you were just saying, you provide these sessions, you provide bars classes, you're a practitioner for pragmatic psychology, which, wow, I mean, that itself is just so different and so unique in the world. But it's a two-way street. It's like the minute that you are contributing to someone, it's an instant contribution to you, because your own consciousness expands, your own awareness of things, your own ideas expand. So that's how the universe is really created. Ask and you shall receive, but it's also a gifting and receiving universe. So simultaneously, when you gift, you shall receive as well, if you allow. It's not I gave this to you and I have to take from you, which a lot of times is how people function in business.
Yes.
But it's really, that's not our world, you know, that's just the world that we've learned. And we can have our world of gifting and receiving.
Yeah, it's totally different. And I really love that. And people are really a little bit astonished. Well, there's a funny story. You know, as a dentist, I do a lot of surgery. So I nearly work 2 days as a surgeon. So I have to extract teeth and I just implant and things like that. And one day a patient came and he said, well, I don't want to have you take out this tooth. And I looked at him and said, well, then I don't. And he was like, what? Huh?
What are you talking about, doctor?
What are you talking about? I mean, my appointment was that you have to extract it. And I said, yes, but you don't want that, right? And he said, no, I don't want that. And then I said, yeah, then I don't do that. Yeah, but you are the doctor. And I said, and it's your body. So how can I know what your body wants? And then he was like, she's really strange. And you know, the funny thing is, I work in Belgium and I have to talk Netherlands with them. And sometimes it's just like I can hear what they are thinking, like a big scripture above their heads. And she doesn't understand me. She's from Germany. She doesn't understand. And she's really strange. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And then I ask them, sometimes I just ask them, body, do you really want me to extract this tooth?
Yeah.
And I asked this body and it said, yes. And then I asked him again, would you really like to go now? And he said, no, I want you to take out this tooth now. And you know, it's such a different thing, because if I have the okay before, I know that they never come back because of difficulties, because of wounds that will not heal or things like that. Just be aware with the body which is sitting right in front of you. And this is different. This is how my dentistry changed.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because how many people, like, you're like a very rare person for him to come into contact with. Because one thing about doctors, by the way, I studied medicine. I was supposed to become a pediatrician personally myself. And, you know, one of the reasons I didn't want to, because back then medicine was more about, come, let me give you some medication because I've already decided what you need. If this doesn't work, then come back and I'll give you more. And I was like, no, that's not my style of doing anything. But it is usually the doctor feels they have no choice either, you know, that they have to do whatever this situation is, instead of you opening his awareness, allowing his body to communicate with him. And when he's not doing it from, I have no choice, when he comes to you and says, I have no choice, you're going to do this, and then you flip it, and he actually then has the choice to choose it. The funny part is, I bet you his healing time was much faster too,
Sure.
because he was no longer fighting his body, you know?
Yeah. That's what I meant when I told you. Maybe my English is not good enough. Sorry.
No, your English is fantastic. It's awesome. But like, I really would love the listeners to really know, like, there are things that do go on. Your body does share intensity and other things because we tend to ignore it when it whispers. So there are things that may need to be done, extraction, or like you said, implant, or anything else. But it also is very different when we do it from listening to the communication of our bodies. Because there's sometimes, I will tell you, it seems like that's the only option as well, but actually the body's asking for something else. It's asking for a different therapy. It's asking for something different. So it really becomes this communication with your body.
Yeah, it's really funny because when I was talking to patients on the Zoom,
Yeah.
there were two of them that had an inflammation at the root. And I know what's going on there anatomically and
Yeah.
medically. And, I always had this strange, quote unquote, point of view that everything has an allowance to exist, so medical treatment and alternative treatments. And I was always like that I said, well, I don't understand the war between these two things. Why not choosing what's required? So sometimes it's easier for the body to do a typical medical treatment, and sometimes it's easier to do an alternative medical treatment. And these two patients, they were talking to me on the Zoom, and their inflammation went away.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's different. I'm open for doing verbally things. I'm doing hands-on treatments, and I work as a dentist. Like I learned to treat people as a dentist, and my opinion is, or my vision for the world is, please let there be more dentists and more medical persons that are aware which treatment is now required, and just talk to the bodies and just invite them to communicate. It's sometimes it's just like putting my hand on this body, and I always do that. And after that, they are really calm, even if they are very frightened before. And it's really a totally different way to treat people.
Yeah. It's really interesting because this reminds me of, like, how often a hug, maybe you're not hugging your patients, but like, how often have we felt so felt so scared about something, or there's person was really in distress, and like that hug really melted everything. Like, our bodies have such amazing power and such healing power, such kindness, such abilities to change things and be that contribution for others. And what you're describing here is really what the future that I would love to see on the planet, that we do have more doctors, we have more people, more teachers, more parents, more of everything, where they're willing to ask a question. And it's not an automatic conclusion. Like, I would sneeze, my mother would take me to the doctor. Like, it was this autopilot response, instead of, hey, what's going on? What's really going on? And starting that communication with our bodies, which is really possible. So I really invite everyone who's watching, like, even with your body, just ask before you put any food in your mouth, before you drink anything, just say, body, would you like this? And you could even do it as a muscle test. Stand up straight put a little space between your legs, and put whatever it is in front of you, and see if your body leans forward as a yes or leans back as a no. Because you'll find your body communicates with energies, with intensity. It can do it from leaning. Like, there's so many ways to communicate with your body. If you're willing to ask the question, your body will respond.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And the most beautiful story I've ever had in my dentistry practice was a young lady. She was aged 7. And I had to extract some milk tooth, 3 of them. And she was hysterically crying. Yeah, she was sitting on the chair. Her mom tried to calm her down, and my assistant tried to calm her down. And I was looking at the scenery, and I was going into the room, and it was just the beginning of my access career, my access things. And I really got this energy, and I just asked, so what is required here? And then I went to her and just put my hand on her shoulder, and I told her, Mom, please to just stop it now, and my assistant as well. And then I asked her, and I said, Anna, is it really your fear? And she immediately got it, because children are so quick. And she stopped crying and looked at me and said, no, that's from my grandma. And then I asked her, oh, it's from your grandma. That's great. Would you be willing to take this fear and put it into an envelope and send it back to her? Shall we do that now? And she said, yes. And then I asked her, and I told her, well, maybe your grandma will be really astonished when she opens this envelope. And she was laughing so much. And then I asked her, Buddy, is it okay to extract these teeth? And Buddy said yes. And it was no problem at all. And then she went away after 10 minutes. She had this little thing in her, these tupfer, I don't know the English expressions, these pressure things you put into the mouth to stop the bleeding. And she had this in her hand and the little teeth on top. And I asked her, Anna, would you come back to the dentist? And she said, yes, to you.
I love it. I love it.
And this was the most impressive story I've ever had. Really.
Wow. Wow. It's amazing. Just like, once I learned that tool, who does this belong to? Like, it changed everything in my life. I'm like, if I would have learned this, like when I was a little kid, like life would have been so much easier, you know? So if you guys want to know more, there's a tool called Who Does This Belong To? You can even download the app, and you can go to YouTube and watch a million videos. Dr. Dane here actually was the one who came up with the tool. And you know, it's just fascinating how aware we are, even with pain. So all those moments that you think you have pain, physical pain, emotional pain, financial pain, whatever it is, if you're willing to just for a moment say, okay, let me relax my body. Because when you're intense and you're freaking out, you're not actually allowing yourself to be present or even be able to listen to your body. So just be present for a moment and ask, who does this belong to? Mine, someone else, something else. And whichever one is lighter, that's what it is. And like you said, put an envelope, which I love that, by the way. I'm going to steal that. I'm totally going to steal that. Usually we say, you know, like yours in an envelope with consciousness attached, because it's not about pain going to anybody, but it's that this point of view is not yours. Return it to the root where it got created. It doesn't even go to the grandma. It will go to that initial moment that energy got hardened, became that thought. So that's the magic of truly adding more consciousness to everything.
Yeah, I did the with consciousness attached in my head. So I just told her, and it was okay for her. And the rest,
that's what she required. Yes, that's also what she required. So I love that. I love that. You are such a gift. I'm so grateful to have met you. And I so look forward to all the magic that you shall create moving forward today. And I do want people to know that if anyone would like to get a hold of you, your information is going to be in our show description. So they can contact you if they'd like to have a session with you, if they'd like to come, I don't know, extract their teeth with you, or, anything.
You're invited, so just come.
I love it. I
Very
love
quick
it.
and
I
I'm
love
really
it.
good.
Oh, I just love that. But truly, like, what a gift, it really is. I mean, dentistry has the highest level of suicide rate, actually, from people's fears. And just that, like, what if every dentist out in the world knew who does this belong to tool, what could that create as well?
Yes, and it's funny because you just right in the beginning, you said dentistry done different. You know how long I have this thing in my head? Dentistry done different, DDD.
How long? 30 years?
Quite long, yes. It's
Yeah.
really quite a long time. So cool. Thank you so much. It has been so much fun. Thank you for the
Oh my
opportunity
God.
to talk about my things. Thank you.
Oh, I adore you. I'm so grateful for you. And truly, the world needs more people like you. That's for sure.
You're so
So, anyone else who's looking for what this magician can offer, please, give her a ring, contact her. And like, each of us have the power of asking questions. And I think that's one of the things that you mentioned throughout this interview is the power of that question. And even asking, hey, what else is possible I haven't even considered yet? Anything that's difficult, guys out there, say, how does it get even better than this? And when things are amazing, ask, how does it get even better? Because we do allow with questions to change anything and everything and make it even greater. Yeah. And thank you for you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, everyone, for being here, whether you guys were watching live or you're watching this later. And truly, what else is possible we have never considered before.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you so much for being here, whether you were listening or watching live or on a replay. We are so grateful for you. We want to hear from you. What would you like to hear about? What are topics that get you excited and you would like to know more about? You can message us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or even sending us a message at globalwellnessforall.com/contact. And also, would you be willing to assist us? Would you be willing to contribute spreading these seeds of wellness and well-being to others? And as always, we are so happy you're here and what is truly possible with our amazing planet the minute we're willing to have more wellness and well-being. See you next time.